I honestly couldn't tell you when, but I think at some point in my life I recognized like there's some serious, serious dark energy inside of me psychologically. That's just what I've come to call it as dark energy. And I was talking to one of my clients about it, and he used the term inner violence, which I thought was pretty astute. I thought that was also a pretty good descriptor for what it is that I'm talking about. I believe strongly that males in general experience this dark energy or this inner violence. Carl Jung, the psychologist, he probably described it as, or similar to his idea or his theory of the shadow psychologically. I just noticed when I was young that there was just this dark, dark energy inside of me. I don't have a very good way to describe it, but it has a tendency to be angry and hostile and aggressive. And as I grew older, I felt like I wasn't supposed to have it. There was something wrong with me. I was flawed for having it. Um, there was a serious, serious flaw or something about me that was completely broken because I had this, because that was going on with me. But I've really come to believe that all males experience this, and I don't know that females do, because when I've described it to them, they look at me like, "What are you talking about?" And I even had this. I even got almost into an argument with a female friend of mine where she's like, "No, you don't." She's like, "No, you don't have that. I see a good person." And I'm like, "I'm not disputing that. You just don't understand." And she just did it. And she didn't even necessarily seem to be trying, which was part of my reaction, where she just automatically dismissed it. When I know that dark energy or that inner violence is really, really real. As males, I think traditionally we have gathered ourselves to teach each other, to confront each other, to help each other confront that energy. We see boys, for example, they may act out aggressively. They may want to wrestle. They may want to get in fights. That's that dark energy, okay? And if we do not teach our boys what to do with that, of course they're going to act out. The most extreme example that I have, of course, are the public shootings. These are boys who have not been able to properly deal with or reconcile or manage the dark energy that's inside of them, that inner violence. They basically kind of fall prey to it. We have been dispersed as males, and we are not really able or allowed. We have been disempowered to be able to pull our boys together and talk to them about, this is what you do with that. This is how we reconcile this. This is how you manage the anger, the aggression, the hostility. I would love to see a world where we actually teach bullies and mentor them with some tough love, rather than shame them and put them down and push them further into their own inner violence. Because that's what we do. That's what the current system does. Oh, that kid's a bully. We immediately force him back into himself to deal with his own inner violence and his own dark energy. And he falls more and more prey to it. And traditionally, males have gotten together so that we could work through this together, and those places have largely been eliminated, and for a couple of reasons, I think. And I mean, justifiably, I think there have been situations where men and boys have gotten together, and it's not been good. They have not done good things, but that's not always the case, not even by a long shot. And I think we have traditionally seen feminists who have gone after these male-oriented groups for a couple of reasons. One is that I think they believe they're fighting the patriarchy. Two is discrimination. They claim discrimination. And the truth of the matter is, if we as males have been stripped of our ability to teach our boys on how to be composed, how to be stoic, how to manage those emotions, what to deal with that dark energy, recognizing it, seeing it for what it is, and how to make some inner peace. We're not able to do that anymore. And quite honestly, if you ask me, I really believe that feminists have helped kind of create this monster of public shootings. They you look at the Boy Scouts, right? This is a group traditionally have really enabled males to get together to grow and learn and mentor and teach. And while I don't love the Boy Scouts, I think they're completely antiquated. They eventually caved into feminists, and it kills me, by the way, when we see the female-only Boy Scout meetings. The hypocrisy, the double standard slays me. It absolutely slays me. I'm not sad to see the Boy Scouts go necessarily. I think they're going to go the way of the dodo, and it's only a matter of time. That's okay, because we're in dire need of something new anyways, and in the absence of something like the Boy Scouts, I think better things will take its place. Whole other topic. But that's just one example where men and boys have been dispersed. And so these boys are forced, they have no choice but to face and deal with the dark energy and the inner violence on their own. They don't know what to do with it. And for argument's sake too, I think that there's a lot of shaming about it. There's a lot of putting it down. Men and boys are not allowed to really express themselves. There's a lot of shame in it. They're not allowed to have problems. And that pushes them deeper into their own dark energy. When you get pushed into your dark energy, when it takes over, it causes you to feel far less compassion and empathy. It causes you to see other people as enemies. It causes you to close your heart. Men and boys are very compassionate by nature. They want to be heroes. They're very compassionate, lots of empathy. But when we are not allowed to deal with that dark energy, it takes over. It can completely own us. And the best way for us to help them is to be able to teach boys. It's very important for us as males to gather together, to be able to work through it together, to support each other through the process, and recognize it for what it is. So what I've come to do with my dark energy is, instead of being ashamed of it and trying to stuff it, if you stuff it, you're gonna just give it power. So what I've tried to do, like mentally, it's kind of hard to describe, but kind of bring it and integrate it with my personality. And some of the things that I do to basically deal with the dark energy are things that are cathartic. And if you don't know what catharsis means, it's basically like emotional purging. You're just kind of emotionally dumping. You're getting things out. You're just, it's a vent. It's a venting. You hear people say, I need a vent. They're needing catharsis. If people really need to vent, some people will say I need a vent and they just need to complain, but some people really need to vent. They just need catharsis. And some of the things that are cathartic for me, music. Sometimes I listen to really aggressive music and it's very cathartic. Sports, growing up I played basketball. It was my favorite sport and it was very cathartic. I could get that energy out and just play on the court. Weightlifting, working out, cycling, that type of stuff. I think video games, in a sense, are cathartic for boys. And I personally, as a therapist, I do not agree with this idea that video games equal violence. Newsflash, folks. Horrible violence existed way before video games. And I was actually listening to a podcast recently about what happened to William Wallace in terms of when he was captured and what they did to him. Tortured him, dismembered him. It was really horrific what they did to him. And it's like, man, damn those video games. If it weren't for those video games, they would have done something a lot less barbaric and horrible. But video games, I'm just trying to make a point here that I disagree that violent video games create violence. I think for the most part they can be cathartic. If a kid sees something in a video game and wants to act out, the video game didn't put that there. That already exists. The video game did not create that in him. But my point being is that we as males need to work together again. We must reunite. We must face our dark energy and our inner violence, and we must learn to reach out to each other, and we need to support each other. And this is my parting shot. We also have to stop asking for permission. I'm sick of us feeling like we're not allowed to gather as guys or talk as guys or do things that are good for guys. People want these public shootings to stop, but you also won't let guys come together and teach boys and be male exclusive spaces. Like, come on, knock it off. So, I need to get going. I got to get to work. But make sure that you become part of a male community. We're launching ours at theorionway.com, so go check out the website. Make sure that you listen to our podcast. As I'm recording this, we're getting ready to launch our episode with a professional wrestler, Marty the Moth. It's a good time. Cool dude. So go check out our podcast. You know what to do, guys. Like and subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time.